If you're someone who has struggled with your weight for a long time and you can't seem to lose weight and keep it off for good, I want you to watch this video. I've had this same struggle in my own life. I battled obesity for 25 years, and 3 times I've lost the same 75 pounds in my life. So twice I lost the weight and I got down to a healthy weight, only to gain it back again in less than a year. This is a very common thing that happens to many people. They're able to lose weight, but then they can't sustain it once they do. Well, I figured out how to overcome this. I lost the 75 pounds for a 3rd time in 2016 and 2017, and now I've maintained a healthy body weight for over these last 6 years. And in many ways, this has been the greatest achievement of my life, because for such a long time, I lived on the other side of this problem, and I didn't think my weight problem was something that I could ever overcome. Well, I did, and I want to teach you how I did it. Now, obviously, losing weight means eating less. That's going to be the most important part of fat loss. You have to eat less food, but it's not as simple as just eating less food. Of course, the sorts of foods that you eat matter as well. There's lots of debate about how to do this, but the overarching principle is you need to eat less. You need to take your energy that you consume and you need to bring it down below the energy that your body uses on a day-to-day basis. And this is going to be what encourages your body to to use the fuel that you have, the energy you have stored as body fat. And that's how you lose fat over the long term. Now, this isn't necessarily going to be easy, but it's a pretty simple concept. And the challenge of it is it's not enough for you to just bring your eating back to the baseline to maintain your weight, right? That's one part of it. Well, you have to go beyond that, and you have to bring your eating to below what you are using from an energetic standpoint every day. And that's going to not necessarily be pleasant, because you're going to have to deal with what might seem to be hunger. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not actually hungry. Humans can survive for weeks, if not months, without food, and even the leanest people have, tens of thousands of calories stored worth of body fat. So you can go a few hours without eating. The reason that you don't think you can is because of your emotional state, and it's because of your unconscious behavior patterns. You've programmed yourself to eat certain things at certain times. And the key to having success with fat loss is to break these habits. It's to understand that you're not actually hungry. When you think you're hungry, this is just an emotional reaction that you're having. And emotions, they don't build over time. They don't grow linearly. Emotions come over us like waves. So the hunger you think you're feeling, that's going to work like a wave. You're going to feel it, and you're going to let go of it, and it's going to wash over you, and it's going to go away. And if you've ever done any sort of extended fasting, you understand how this concept works. You get a little hungry, but then you refocus your mind on something else, and it just goes away. And you can really survive for a long term without eating. And that's going to be one of the most important parts of losing fat for the long term, is coming to terms with your hunger. Because once you can conquer that, well, that's going to make it a lot easier. So once you get this part down, and once you get down to what your goal is, right? Again, this is not going to necessarily be an easy process, but it's fairly straightforward. And I think most people who have struggled with their weight for a long time, they understand on some level how to lose weight. Most people have had some success at some point in losing weight. It's not exactly that difficult of a concept. You have to eat less. Eating protein-dominant meals is going to help you out a lot. You want to cut out all the junk food, the processed food, the stuff that has the industrialized vegetable oils, the added sugar, right? All that stuff is not going to be good for you. You want to stop drinking your calories. You want to cut out the sodas and all that stuff. And you make these changes. Tracking your food is a huge help as well. You can count calories if you want. It can be beneficial for certain people. Certainly having the additional data and the precision of knowing the quantities and the amount of energy you're consuming from food is helpful for making adjustments in the long run, but that's not necessarily going to have to be that way in order for you to have success. You don't have to count calories, but tracking your food makes a lot of sense because that brings awareness to your unconscious eating patterns. Now, once you get to your fat loss goal and you hit your target weight, well, congratulate yourself, but understand that in many ways, the fight is just beginning. Fat loss has a certain motivation about it. When you're being successful at it, it feels good, and you're getting constant feedback that's feeling good about it. You get on the scale, and the scale keeps going down consistently, week after week after week. If you're doing it right, you're going to be losing weight, and you're going to be seeing a lower number, and this is going to make you feel good about yourself. Now, maintaining your weight for the rest of your life, that's going to be a different animal. It's not going to provide the same rewards that losing weight does. But it's important to understand that the reason that 95% of diets fail, as they claim, it's not because the diets fail. If the diet failed, then it wouldn't even be counted in the statistic. The problem is that the individual stopped following the diet, either because they didn't want to anymore, or it wasn't sustainable, or whatever, and then they did not know a sustainable way to live. They did not have a new lifestyle that they could adopt that could maintain and even grow their progress, so inevitably they return back to their previous behavior patterns. And when they do that, well, what happens? They start eating the same things they'd always eaten, and the weight gain comes back on inevitably, right? The key to having success with this is adopting a new lifestyle. It's a cliche that, it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle change, but it is very true. In order to maintain your fat loss, you have to be willing to change your lifestyle forever. You can't go back to your old behaviors. And what this means is you have to keep eating healthy foods in reasonable portions. You have to keep holding yourself accountable. You have to keep getting on the scale or measuring yourself or taking progress pictures or however it is, so you can sort of rebuild your self-image in a healthier way by understanding that you can live at a healthy body weight. There's this idea of a weight set point that people will talk about. And on one level, the idea that our weights are set at a certain point is ridiculous. I've lost weight, I've kept it off, so clearly my body did not have a fixed set point for my weight. But if you think of it more as a set point in your self-image, the way that you see yourself on a subconscious level, well, now it makes a lot more sense. That, you have an image of yourself, and if you don't really rehabilitate that image and hold it in a new way, well, what's going to happen is inevitably your subconscious mind, once you stop being really intentional with your behavior, once your willpower gives in, your subconscious mind is going to reorient yourself back to the way that you see yourself on a deep level. And I think we've all been there. For me, my set point was probably maxed out at about 250 pounds. I wouldn't let myself get past that, even if I wasn't being intentional, because that just wasn't something that I was willing to do. I felt too much shame about that. I didn't want to buy clothes that were 2X. I didn't want to buy pants that were over a size 40, right? So, when I got to that point, I would make subconscious changes to my lifestyle to just sort of stay within that set point. And you can go past that, of course, but that means accepting a new emotional low, and that is painful to do that. And this is why people who have a morbid obesity, they tend to be, emotionally low people. The extra weight that you carry, this body fat, is all living tissue, and it requires energy to maintain that. And that energy draws away from your vital life force. In order for you to just carry around all this weight, you have to actually physically move it through space as well. And this also takes energy. So by losing this weight, well, now you're going to have a lot more energy at your disposal. But it's not just a, hey, I did it and I'm done with this forever, right? Job done. No, you have to maintain it. And especially for those first few years of maintaining your fat loss, you have to be really intentional about it. You need to have a plan as to how to do this. And you need to constantly monitor yourself and make sure that your results are aligned with your intentions. So for me, in 2017, when I reached my fat loss goal, I set up some rules for myself. I kept logging my food and I kept eating within a calorie budget, right? Now my calorie budget was a lot higher than when I was dieting. That made it kind of easy to do it, but I didn't let myself totally go loose. I know I've been there before. I'd seen that movie before and I knew what the result was going to be. So I understood that I needed to build in some discipline into my life, even though I had reached my goal. The other rules I set up was I had to walk 10,000 or more steps every day. I did that for over 7.5 years. I strength trained 3 to 4 times a week, and I did weekly high-intensity cardio. I did hill sprints on the treadmill. Now, doing this consistently for years, this got me into pretty good shape. So that was a benefit in and of itself. And the other rule I made was I have to get on the scale every day. Now, getting on the scale can be tricky. You'll understand that your weight doesn't necessarily follow your behavior in a linear way. But, you have to learn to adapt to the fluctuations of it and just keep taking the data in an agnostic fashion, right? Record the data point and then periodically zoom out and look at it and take it into consideration with other factors. How you look. Progress pictures can be really important, right? Measurements can be really helpful, right? Those are nice objective measurements of different parts of your body. How your clothes fit is going to be an objective measure. How you feel is going to be really probably most important, right? So you want to look at all of these things and make sure that as time goes on, that you are staying consistent and that you are keeping aligned with your intention to maintain your weight. Now, as you do this over time, you're demonstrating self-love by doing this. And by demonstrating love for yourself, you're going to start to feel better about yourself. And you're going to rehabilitate your self-image. The key to long-term success is on a subconscious level, you have to come to see yourself in a different way. You have to come to see yourself as a healthy person at a healthy body weight. And once you're able to do that, well, now your success is going to be in some ways effortless. Because instead of being this person trying to maintain your weight, now you have taken on the identity of I'm a healthy person, right? And I behave the way that a healthy person behaves. I exercise, I eat right, I do all these things. So it takes the effort out of it, it takes the willpower out of it, and now this is just who you are, and this is just how you behave. So for long-term success, that really is the key. You have to come to see yourself differently. And one of the biggest obstacles you're going to face with that is going to be the people around you. Your success is going to threaten people, especially the low-energy people, because they're going to see you being successful, and they're going to feel insecure about themselves. And some people might even try to bring you down. Some of the people that try to bring you down might be your close friends or family, and that's going to be a challenge to deal with. You have to protect your energy, and you can't let the other people bring you down. That just because you're having success, right, that's going to threaten them. You can't let them do that to you. So by surrounding yourself with supportive people, it can be really helpful. If you don't have those people in your life, well, a great place to find them is on social media. There's many people on social media who are supportive and uplifting, who like to spread positive energy. So the more you're able to follow and connect with those people and, inundate yourself with those messages and that content, well, that's going to reprogram you in a certain way, and that's going to make you feel better about yourself, and that's going to help you embody this new self-image. So if you're trying to maintain your weight loss, first of all, congratulate yourself. Losing the weight in and of itself is a great achievement. Now, what you need to do is, though, keep your eye on the prize. You can't just give up once you hit that number. You have to understand that your health is a lifelong commitment, right? Exercise is something that everyone should be doing regularly, regardless of their age, their size, their body composition, or their goals. We all should be doing some form of exercise. So just because you reached a weight loss goal, that doesn't mean you stop exercising now. Far from it. In fact, in my case, I started exercising even more as I got into better shape, and it's changed my life in profound ways. And it doesn't mean that you should return to your old behavior patterns. If you ate certain way before and that's why you gained weight, well, then after you lose the weight, if you go back to those behaviors, well, then you're just going to end up back in the same place you started. And that's why so many diets fail. So you have to figure out what's going to be a workable lifestyle for you and what's going to work for you to be sustainable, for the weeks, for the months, for the years, and for the decades into the future. And if you can figure that out, if you can be intentional about it, and if you can hold yourself accountable, well, then you can keep the weight off for the rest of your life. I know I have done it, and I know many other people who have done it. So if you're struggling with this problem right now, know that you can solve it, and I'm here for you, and so are many other people in the community, and I wish you the best of luck in doing it. I hope my message was helpful. If you ever have any questions or you need any support from me, my DMs are always open. I'm happy to talk with you.